Ladies and gentlemen, everyone loves goals. People write them in notebooks, talk about them with friends, post them on social media, and feel great about having them. But let me tell you something, very real goals without systems are just wishes. The difference between people who talk about success and people who actually achieve it is not talent, luck, or even intelligence. The real difference is systems, the daily structure that turns ambition into action. First, you need clarity. If you don't know exactly what you want, you cannot build a system to get there. Saying, I want to be successful means nothing. Successful at what? Business, fitness, learning. The clearer your goal is, the easier it becomes to design the path toward it. Second, stop relying on motivation. Motivation is exciting, but it is unreliable. Some days you wake up energized, other days you don't. Systems are powerful because they remove the need for motivation. When something becomes a daily habit, you do it whether you feel like it or not. Third, break your goals into small, practical actions. If your goal is to write a book, your system might be writing 500 words every day. If your goal is to start a business, your system might include researching the market, creating content, and reaching out to potential customers daily. Big achievements are simply the result of thousands of small actions repeated consistently. Fourth, track your progress. Systems work best when you can see results. When you measure your actions, whether it's hours worked, tasks completed, or skills improved, you create accountability. And accountability creates discipline. Fifth, be flexible. Not every system works perfectly the first time. Sometimes you'll realize a process is inefficient or unrealistic. That's okay. Systems are not meant to be rigid. They are meant to evolve as you grow. Understand that real achievement requires patience. We live in a world that celebrates overnight success, but most meaningful accomplishments take years. Systems are powerful because they focus on consistent effort over time, not instant results. So if you truly want to achieve your goals, stop obsessing over the dream and start building the structure that supports it. Design your days, control your habits, track your progress, improve your process. Clarity of goals is the starting point for building any system that actually works. Many people say they want success, but they never define what success truly means for them. When a goal is vague, the actions connected to it also become vague. A system cannot guide you towards something that is unclear. This is why the first step is always to identify exactly what you want to achieve and why it matters to you. When the goal is clear, it becomes easier to create a path that leads toward it. Clarity forces you to move from general ideas to specific outcomes. Instead of saying you want to be healthier, you define what health means in measurable terms. It might mean exercising 5 times a week, running a certain distance, or reaching a specific level of fitness. Instead of saying you want to grow your career, you determine the exact skills you need to develop, the roles you want to reach, or the projects you want to complete. Specific goals create a sense of direction, and direction is what systems depend on. Clear goals also help prioritize your time and energy. Every day people face countless choices about how to spend their hours. Without clear goals, it becomes easy to waste time on activities that feel productive but do not move you forward. Clarity acts like a filter that helps you decide which actions are valuable and which ones are distractions. When you know exactly what you are aiming for, you can align your daily routines with that target. Another important aspect of clarity is understanding the deeper reason behind your goal. When you know why something matters to you, the system you design becomes more meaningful and sustainable. The purpose behind the goal gives you emotional commitment and strengthens your focus. This deeper understanding makes it easier to remain consistent even when progress feels slow. Clarity also improves decision-making. When opportunities appear, it becomes easier to evaluate whether they support your goal or lead you away from it. Instead of chasing every new idea or trend, you focus on actions that fit your long-term direction. Over time, this focused approach prevents confusion and reduces wasted effort. When goals are clearly defined, systems become more structured and intentional. Daily tasks are no longer random activities, but deliberate steps connected to a larger objective. Each action becomes part of a larger framework designed to produce steady progress. Daily habits are far more powerful than motivation when it comes to achieving meaningful goals. Motivation is an emotional state. And like most emotions, it changes frequently. Some days people feel excited, energetic, and ready to take action. On other days, they feel tired, distracted, or discouraged. When progress depends only on motivation, consistency becomes impossible because emotions are unpredictable. Habits, on the other hand, create stability. A habit is an action that becomes automatic through repetition. When a behavior turns into a habit, it requires less mental effort and less emotional energy. Instead of debating whether you should complete a task, you simply do it because it has become part of your routine. This is what makes habits the foundation of effective systems. They remove the constant need to decide, negotiate, or wait for the right mood. Building habits starts with small and realistic actions. Many people fail because they attempt to make dramatic changes all at once. They design ambitious routines that are difficult to sustain, and after a short period, they abandon them. Strong systems are built gradually. Small actions repeated consistently create momentum, and over time, those actions become natural parts of daily life. Consistency is the real strength of habits. When a behavior is repeated every day or every week, progress compounds slowly but steadily. A person who studies a little each day gradually develops deep knowledge. Someone who exercises regularly improves strength and endurance over time. Someone who practices a skill daily becomes more confident and capable. These improvements may appear small at first, but the long-term results become significant because the actions never stop. Habits also protect progress during difficult periods. Everyone experiences days when energy is low or challenges arise. Systems built on habits continue to function even during these moments. Instead of relying on bursts of enthusiasm, the routine carries the individual forward. The structure remains stable even when motivation fades. Another advantage of habits is that they reduce mental fatigue. When important actions are scheduled and repeated regularly, there is less need to constantly plan or reconsider them. The mind becomes free to focus on improvement rather than decision-making. This efficiency allows people to direct more attention toward learning, creativity, and problem-solving. Over time, habits shape identity as well as results. When someone consistently performs a behavior, it gradually becomes part of how they see themselves. A person who writes daily begins to see themselves as a writer. Someone who trains regularly identifies as an athlete. The repeated action strengthens the connection between behavior and self-perception, reinforcing the system that supports progress. Large goals often feel overwhelming because of their size and complexity. When people focus only on the final outcome, the distance between their current position and the desired result can seem intimidating. This sense of overwhelm can lead to procrastination or hesitation, making it difficult to begin. Breaking goals into smaller, manageable actions transforms a distant objective into a series of achievable steps. When a goal is divided into smaller tasks, it becomes easier to understand what needs to be done each day. Instead of concentrating on a massive project, the focus shifts toward completing a specific action that moves the process forward. This approach reduces pressure because the immediate task feels practical and attainable. The system becomes a sequence of small actions that gradually build momentum. Smaller steps also improve clarity. Large goals often contain many different components, and without breaking them down, it can be difficult to identify where to start. By analyzing the goal and separating it into individual tasks, each stage becomes more visible. Planning becomes more organized, and the path toward completion becomes easier to follow. Progress becomes more measurable when goals are divided into smaller pieces. Each completed task represents a visible step forward, which creates a sense of accomplishment. This feeling of progress encourages continued effort and strengthens commitment to the system. Instead of waiting for a distant result, individuals experience regular confirmation that their actions are producing movement. Breaking goals into smaller actions also makes it easier to maintain consistency. When tasks are simple and clearly defined, they require less time and mental energy to complete. This makes it more realistic to repeat them regularly. Systems built on manageable tasks are more sustainable because they fit more easily into daily routines. Smaller steps also allow room for learning and adjustment. As each task is completed, new information becomes available about what works and what does not. This feedback helps improve the system over time. Instead of committing to a single large plan that may contain flaws, the process evolves gradually as experience grows. Another advantage of small actions is that they reduce fear of failure. When a task is simple and limited in scope, mistakes become less intimidating. Each step becomes an opportunity to learn rather than a risk of major loss. This encourages experimentation and continuous improvement within the system. Accountability and tracking are essential elements of systems that lead to real progress. Without a way to monitor actions and results, it becomes difficult to understand whether efforts are moving in the right direction. Many people work hard toward their goals but fail to measure what they are doing. When progress is not tracked, improvement becomes uncertain and motivation can weaken because there is no visible evidence of advancement. Tracking creates awareness. When individuals record their actions, they become more conscious of how they spend their time and energy. This awareness often reveals patterns that would otherwise remain unnoticed. It may show how much time is truly being invested in productive work, how often important tasks are completed, or where distractions are reducing efficiency. With this information, adjustments can be made to strengthen the system. Measurement also turns abstract goals into concrete data. Instead of relying on feelings or assumptions, progress becomes visible through numbers records or completed tasks. For example, someone developing a skill may track hours of practice, lessons completed, or projects finished. A person working toward physical fitness may track workouts distances or performance improvements. These records provide objective evidence that the system is functioning. Accountability adds another layer of discipline to the process. When people know their actions will be reviewed or recorded, they are more likely to remain consistent. Accountability can come from personal tracking tools, structured schedules, or external support from mentors, colleagues, or partners. Sharing goals and progress with others often increases commitment because it creates a sense of responsibility. Tracking also highlights both strengths and weaknesses within a system. When results are documented over time, it becomes easier to identify which actions produce the most progress and which activities contribute little value. This allows individuals to refine their approach by focusing more energy on effective behaviors while reducing time spent on less productive tasks. Another advantage of tracking is that it provides motivation during long-term efforts. Large goals often take time to achieve, and progress may not always be immediately visible. Recorded data helps reveal gradual improvement that might otherwise go unnoticed. Small gains accumulate over weeks and months, demonstrating that the system is working even when the final goal remains distant. Consistent tracking encourages reflection as well. Reviewing records regularly allows individuals to evaluate their performance, recognize achievements, and identify areas where further effort is needed. This reflection strengthens the connection between daily actions and long-term objectives, reinforcing the discipline required to maintain the system. Effective systems are not fixed structures that remain the same forever. They are dynamic processes that evolve as new experiences and insights emerge. When people begin working toward a goal, they rarely have perfect knowledge about the best methods to use. The first version of a system is often an experiment designed to create movement and gather information. As actions are repeated and results are observed, it becomes possible to refine the process and improve its effectiveness. Adaptation is an important part of this process. A system that works well at the beginning may eventually become inefficient as circumstances change or as new opportunities appear. When individuals remain flexible, they can adjust their methods without losing focus on their overall objective. This flexibility allows them to respond to challenges and improve their strategies rather than becoming trapped in routines that no longer serve their purpose. Learning plays a central role in system improvement. Each action provides feedback about what works and what does not. When a method produces positive results, it can be strengthened and repeated more often. When a method produces weak results, it can be modified or replaced. This continuous cycle of action, observation, and adjustment gradually increases the efficiency of the system. Improvement also comes from reflecting on performance. Regular evaluation allows individuals to examine how their routines are functioning and identify areas that require change. Reflection encourages thoughtful analysis of both successes and mistakes. Instead of viewing mistakes as failures, they become sources of valuable information that guide future decisions. Adapting systems also requires openness to new ideas and techniques. As people grow in knowledge and experience, they encounter better tools, methods, and strategies. Incorporating these improvements into an existing system can significantly enhance productivity and results. A willingness to experiment with different approaches helps prevent stagnation and keeps progress moving forward. Another aspect of system evolution is recognizing when goals themselves may need adjustment. Sometimes initial objectives change as new information becomes available or as priorities shift. When this happens, the system must be realigned to support the updated direction. This ability to adjust ensures that daily actions remain connected to meaningful outcomes. Continuous improvement strengthens long-term performance because it prevents complacency. Instead of repeating routines without thought, individuals remain actively engaged in refining their process. Each improvement may appear small, but over time these adjustments accumulate, transforming an ordinary system into a highly effective structure for consistent progress. Patience and consistency are essential qualities for anyone who wants to achieve meaningful goals. Many people begin their journeys with excitement and determination, but they expect results to appear quickly. When progress seems slow, frustration often replaces enthusiasm. Systems that lead to real achievement require a different mindset, one that accepts gradual development and focuses on steady effort over time. Patience allows individuals to remain committed, even when visible results are limited. Most valuable accomplishments take longer than people expect. Skills require practice, businesses require growth and adaptation, and personal development requires continuous learning. When individuals understand that progress unfolds slowly, they are less likely to abandon their systems during the early stages when improvements are still small. Consistency is what transforms patience into measurable progress. A single effort rarely produces significant results, but repeated actions accumulate over time. Each day of focused work adds a small contribution toward the final outcome. These contributions may appear minor in isolation, yet their combined effect becomes powerful when they are sustained for long periods. Systems support consistency by creating structure. Instead of relying on occasional bursts of effort, individuals follow routines that guide their actions regularly. This repetition ensures that progress continues, even when external circumstances are challenging. Consistency reduces the likelihood of long interruptions that can slow or reverse development. Another advantage of consistent effort is that it strengthens discipline. Each time individuals follow their system, they reinforce the habit of taking action regardless of temporary feelings or obstacles. Discipline grows through repetition, and over time it becomes a reliable source of strength. When discipline is strong, it becomes easier to maintain focus and continue working toward long-term goals. Patience also helps individuals maintain a balanced perspective during difficult periods. Every long journey contains setbacks, unexpected challenges, and moments of doubt. When patience is present, these obstacles are viewed as temporary parts of the process rather than signs of failure. This outlook encourages resilience and keeps the system functioning even when progress slows. Consistency and patience together create the conditions necessary for long-term improvement. As actions are repeated day after day, knowledge expands, skills develop, and confidence increases. The gradual accumulation of experience strengthens the system and moves the individual steadily closer to the desired outcome. Over extended periods, the results of consistent effort become increasingly visible. What once seemed like small actions begin to produce significant change, demonstrating how patience and repeated commitment shape the path toward meaningful achievement. In the end, achieving meaningful goals is not about chasing motivation, waiting for the perfect moment, or relying on occasional bursts of effort. Real progress happens when clear goals are supported by strong systems that guide daily actions. When you know exactly what you want, build consistent habits, break large ambitions into manageable steps, track your progress, adapt your methods, and remain patient through the process, you create a structure that makes success far more likely. Systems transform dreams into practical routines. They turn overwhelming goals into simple daily actions and replace uncertainty with direction. Instead of depending on inspiration or luck, systems allow individuals to move forward with discipline and purpose. Each small action, repeated consistently, becomes a building block that contributes to long-term growth. Over time, these actions accumulate. Skills improve, knowledge expands, and confidence grows. The progress may seem small at first, but with patience and consistency, the results become powerful. What once appeared to be a distant goal gradually becomes a reality shaped by hundreds of deliberate choices and consistent effort. The key lesson is that success is rarely the result of a single moment or a sudden breakthrough. It is the outcome of systems that operate quietly in the background every day. When people focus on building and improving these systems, they create a reliable path toward their ambitions and turn their goals from ideas into lasting achievements.